I exposed my boss's crime after he demoted me. Hi, r/am I the asshole. I'm 28F, and I've been working at a mid-sized financial company in New York for almost 5 years. I started as a junior analyst right after college. I graduated with a degree in finance, had good recommendations, and really believed this was my chance at a career. The company provides investment consulting for medium-sized businesses, nothing super global, but stable, with clients all over the country. At first, everything was okay. I learned quickly, made reports, analyzed data, communicated with clients. After 2 years, I was promoted to senior analyst, and a year after that, to project manager. It was a dream. I managed a small team of 5 people, coordinated deadlines, prepared presentations for senior management. The salary was decent, about $85K a year plus bonuses, and I could afford to rent an apartment in Brooklyn, travel once a year, and even save for the future. Life seemed to be on the upswing. But everything changed when a new boss, let's call him John, 52M, joined us 2 years ago. He came from another company where he supposedly reformed a department, but in reality, as I later found out from former colleagues via LinkedIn, he just squeezed people dry. John is a typical corporate psychopath, tall, always in expensive suits, with a fake smile and a way of talking that makes you feel like you owe him something. From day one, he started pushing for productivity. We had a standard 9-5 schedule, but he constantly added additional tasks after work hours. At first, it was quick calls at 7 p.m., then urgent reports on weekends. And all of this without any overtime pay. He would say, "This isn't about money, it's about dedication to the company. If you're not willing to invest your time, then maybe this isn't the place for you." The team stayed silent, the economy is unstable, people were afraid of losing their jobs. I tolerated it at first too, thinking it was temporary, but after a year it became the norm. We were working 60-70 hours a week, without weekends, and John even bragged about it in meetings. Look at our team, true warriors. I tried to talk to him about it. I approached him privately several times. "John, we're exhausted, productivity is dropping due to fatigue. Maybe we could hire more people or pay for overtime." He always brushed me off. "That's not my problem, that's the market. If you don't like it, the door is open." Once he even said that women always complain about balance, but that's not how it works in business. Sexist jokes were his thing, like "You're not pregnant, so why can't you stay?" Colleagues laughed nervously, but no one argued. I documented all of this in notes on my phone, just in case, but didn't go to HR because our HR is one person, a friend of John's, and everyone knew she just ignored complaints. A month ago, the situation escalated. We had a big project, an audit for a key client with a deadline in 2 weeks. John announced in a meeting, "Everyone is working this weekend. This is not a request, it's an order. We will work Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. until late to get it all done." I raised my hand and said, "I'm sorry, but I can't. I have a planned family event, my mom's birthday. She's flying in from another state, and this is our first meeting in a year. I can finish my part on Friday evening or early Monday morning." He turned red as a lobster and started yelling at me in front of everyone. "Are you serious? This isn't kindergarten where you can skip for family matters. You're letting the team down, you're selfish. If you don't show up, there will be consequences." The team was silent, no one supported me. I stood my ground, I refused. On Monday, I was called into his office. He said, "You've shown you're not a team player. We can't trust you to manage projects if you're not willing to sacrifice. Effective today, you are being transferred to an assistant position in the accounting department. Your salary is reduced by 20%, no bonuses until the end of the year. This is your chance to re-educate yourself." I was in shock. This is pure punishment. Accounting is in the office basement, where 2 senior accountants and now I sit. My new job, sorting papers, scanning receipts, entering data into Excel, checking small invoices. Boring, monotonous work where I feel like I'm in prison. No analysis, no creativity. Plus, now I see my former colleagues looking at me with pity, but no one says anything. And the worst part, John hired his niece, Emma, 23F, for my old project manager position. She just graduated from college with a degree in marketing, not finance, and this is her first job. I know because John himself bragged at a corporate party last year that my niece is so smart, she'll be joining us soon. She knows nothing about our field. She confuses basic terms like ROI with ROE, makes mistakes in reports. Colleagues told me one report had to be completely redone because of her creative calculations. She comes in at 10 a.m., leaves at 4 p.m., sits on Instagram half the day, and John praises her. The youth bring a fresh perspective. The team is shocked, productivity is falling, clients are complaining about delays, but no one dares to speak up. It's pure nepotism. John just wanted to put his relative in a cushy job and used me as an example to intimidate others. Now I'm sitting in accounting, feeling humiliated and angry. Financially, it hurts. I can barely pay my rent, had to cancel my vacation. I'm thinking about leaving, but the job market is bad right now, and I don't want it to look like I'm running away on my resume. I don't know whether to quit or just endure it. Update 1, 2 weeks after the original post. Hello again, r/am I the asshole? Thank you all for the comments on the original post. You really helped me not feel crazy. Many advised going to HR or looking for a new job. Some said it was classic workplace bullying, and some even suggested documenting everything for a potential lawsuit. I read all your advice and decided not to rush into quitting for now. The market is really terrible, especially in finance after the latest recession, and I don't want quit after demotion on my resume. Instead, I quietly started looking for vacancies on LinkedIn and Glassdoor, but haven't found anything promising. Plus, I decided to give myself time to adapt to the new role in accounting because, honestly, after all the stress from John, this boring paperwork seemed almost like a rest. At least no one is yelling or demanding overtime. So, for the update, I've been in my new assistant position in the accounting department for 2 weeks now. It's a little corner in the office basement, 2 senior accountants, Mr. Smith, 65M, a pensioner in spirit, always grumbling about the good old days without computers, and Mrs. Johnson, 58F, a sweet woman who bakes cookies for everyone and tells stories about her grandchildren. They both feel sorry for me, Mr. Smith said. Kid, John is a walking disaster, but hang in there, maybe things will work out. My daily routine. I arrive at 8:45 a.m., no one monitors me, sit at a desk with a pile of papers, sort supplier invoices, scan expense receipts, enter data into an old Excel system. The company saves on software, so everything is manual. Check if the amounts match bank statements. It's boring to the point of insanity, me, with a finance degree and project management experience, now sitting and counting how much the company spent on office coffee, spoiler. Too much, because John loves premium blends. My salary dropped from $85K to $68K a year, so I've cut costs. No more food delivery, switched to cheap internet, even canceled Netflix. It's financially tight. I can barely pay my rent in Brooklyn, which went up by $200 this year due to inflation. But emotionally, I'm still angry. Every time I see Emma, John's niece, in the hallway, she's in stylish clothes, with a new iPhone, laughing with colleagues as if it's her kingdom, I tremble with rage. Colleagues from my old team complain in whispers. One said they lost a client because of her mistakes, as a report had calculation errors. She confused percentages with absolute values, and the client noticed. But John defends her. She's learning, give young talents a chance. Talents? She doesn't even know what a balance sheet is. And now for the most interesting part, the reason I'm writing this update. While working with documents, I had access to the archive of expenses for the last 2 years. These are boxes of papers in a closet that no one touches because everything is supposedly digitized, but in reality, half is still on paper due to budget constraints. Mr. Smith tasked me with organizing the archive, sorting by dates, checking for duplicates. I sat there for hours, and one day, reviewing receipts from 2023, I noticed something strange. There was a check for $5,000 for consulting services from a company I'd never heard of, Lux Consulting LLC. I Googled it on my phone because the office blocks sites, and it turned out to be a dummy firm registered at an address in Delaware, where many shell companies are. Then another check, $3,200 for business meeting travel to Miami, but during that period, there were no clients in Florida. I checked the team's calendar. I dug deeper. I took old bank statements and compared them. It turned out that John personally signed off on these expenses, and the money went to accounts linked to him. For example, one payment for office equipment for $10K went to an electronics store where a TV and PlayStation were bought, but nothing new appeared in the office. I took photos with my phone, carefully, so no one would see, and analyzed them at home in the evening. It looks like a classic scheme. falsifying expenses to siphon money from the company for personal use. I remembered John boasting at a corporate party about his new house in New Jersey, a big one with a pool, costing at least $800K. Where did he get the money for that on a manager's salary? The company isn't profitable enough to pay him millions. I'm shocked and panicked. On one hand, it's none of my business, I'm just an assistant, and if I'm caught snooping, John will fire me instantly. On the other, if this is true, the company could go bankrupt because of such a thief, and everyone will lose their jobs, including Mr. Smith and Mrs. Johnson, who have worked here for 20 years. Plus, after he demoted me because of his niece, it feels like karma. But am I going too far if I report it? Many in the comments advised being careful with evidence. I'm thinking of sending this anonymously to the board of directors. We have a board of 5 people, including the CEO, who is rarely in the office. They have a secured email for whistleblowers because the company is public and falls under SOX, Sarbanes-Oxley Act, a law on financial transparency. But I'm afraid of the consequences. What if they figure out it was me? AITA if I keep digging and send the evidence. Or is it better to stay silent and just leave? Your thoughts, please, you've already helped once. Maybe you can advise on how to gather more evidence without risk. Update 2, 1 week after Update 1. Hello everyone again, r/am I the asshole. Your comments on Update 1 were pure gold. Thank you for the support, advice, and even warnings about the risks. Many said, gather evidence, but be careful, contact a lawyer. Some advised keeping a journal, and some even shared their own stories about similar thief bosses. One told how they exposed their manager and got a reward. I took it all into account. I contacted a free legal consultant through an online service, anonymously, of course. And he confirmed that as a whistleblower, I'm protected by law Dodd-Frank Act for financial companies, and could even get a reward from the SEC if the embezzlement is significant. This gave me courage, but I was still nervous, slept poorly, constantly checking if I was being watched at the office, paranoia. I know, but after the demotion, trust is zero. So an update on what happened next. I decided not to stop and dug deeper into the archive. I used lunch breaks to organize the old boxes. Mr. Smith didn't object because he's too lazy to deal with it. In a week, I found a bunch of suspicious documents. Receipts for luxury trips, e.g., $15K for a week in Italy for a conference. But there was no conference in the calendar. I checked old emails I still have access to through my old account. Then payments for marketing services for $20K to a firm registered in the name of John's wife. I found this through public records on the state website. And the worst, transfers to offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands disguised as investments in partners. I estimated roughly. Over 2 years, it's about $250, $300K siphoned from the company. The company isn't a giant, annual turnover is about $5 million, so this is significant. It might explain why bonuses were canceled last year and why staff was cut. I made copies of everything, scanned them with my phone, there's an app for that, saved them in the cloud with a password, and even printed out key pages at home. I thought about Emma. It turned out her salary in my old position is higher than mine was. I saw payroll documents. And John signed a $5K adaptation bonus for her, while the team gets nothing for overtime. This made me even angrier, nepotism plus theft. Emotionally, I'm on edge. On one hand, I feel righteous anger, like I'm the heroine of a movie about corporate intrigue, like The Insider with Russell Crowe. On the other, fear. What if John finds out? He has connections, he could retaliate. My accounting colleagues suspect nothing, Mrs. Johnson said. John was always generous with expenses, but that's his business. I didn't tell them, afraid of a leak. At home, I discussed it with a friend, the only one I trust, and she said, "Do it, otherwise you'll regret it." Finally, yesterday evening, I anonymously sent a package of evidence to the board of directors through their whistleblower portal, screenshots, copies of checks, analysis of sums, even links to public records. I wrote, "These are evidences of embezzlement by manager John Smith. Please investigate to save the company." I used a VPN and a new email to avoid being traced. Now I'm waiting, my heart is pounding. I can't concentrate on work. AITA for going through with this? Many in the comments said YTA if you don't report, but now I'm afraid of the consequences. What if nothing happens and John stays? Or worse, if I get fired? Your advice is needed more than ever. Update 3, 1 month after Update 2, final update. Hello everyone once again, r/am I the asshole. Oh my god, guys and girls, you won't believe what happened this month. First, a huge thank you for all your comments on the previous updates. You were my moral compass in this crazy situation. Many advised waiting and not panicking. Some warned about possible risks, like, what if you get fired? And some even shared stories of successful whistleblowing. One user told how they exposed their boss and got compensation from the company. I read all of this at night because after sending the evidence, I couldn't sleep, constantly checking my email for any signs I'd been caught. The lawyer I consulted with, anonymously through an online service for employees, advised me to lay low, document everything, and prepare for a possible interview with the board. He reminded me of the whistleblower protection under the Dodd-Frank Act and SOX, and that if the embezzlement exceeds a certain amount, the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, could get involved because our company has public shares on the exchange, albeit small ones. This gave me confidence, but fear still gnawed at me. What if John has friends in upper management? Or if the evidence is ignored? I even updated my resume and applied for a couple of vacancies, just in case, because the market in New York is terrible right now. Inflation, layoffs in tech and finance, and everyone is looking for jobs with AI skills, which I don't have. So let's get to the point, because the events unfolded like a Netflix thriller. After I sent the evidence package, screenshots of checks, analysis of transfers, links to public records about the dummy companies, there was complete silence for a week. I came to work, sat in accounting, sorted papers, and tried to act normal. Mr. Smith and Mrs. Johnson suspected nothing. We chatted about the weather, cookie recipes. Mrs. Johnson baked chocolate chip with nuts to cheer me up after the demotion, and how the company is saving on everything. John, however, behaved as usual, walked around the office with a fake smile, praised Emma in meetings. My niece is a star. Look how she's revitalized projects. Though colleagues whispered that due to her mistakes, for example, she miscalculated ROI for a client who almost left, the team was working twice as hard. And Emma, a picture. She came in designer clothes, a Gucci bag I noticed, costs at least $2,000, sat in my old office, posted Instagram stories about corporate life. Boss babe, seriously. I avoided her, but once in the hallway she said, "Hi, sorry about what happened with your position, but you understand, business is business." I barely restrained myself from saying, "Yes, especially when your uncle is stealing money." Then, 10 days after my email, it started. Early in the morning, the CEO, he rarely appears, lives in Connecticut and manages several companies, arrived at the office with 2 board members and an external auditor, a serious guy in a suit, with a briefcase of documents. They closed themselves in the conference room all day, called John in. I saw through the glass how he was smiling at first, then turned red and started gesturing. Before lunch, 2 more arrived, the company lawyer and someone from HR, not that friend of John's, but someone new from the head office. The atmosphere in the office was tense. People were whispering, no one knew what was happening. I wasn't called in, but I was nervous. What if they checked the access logs to the archive? I was careful, but still. By the end of the day, John came out of the room pale as a ghost, gathered his things, and left without a word. Emma also disappeared. Colleagues said she started crying and went home. The next day, the CEO gathered the whole company for a Zoom meeting because the office is small and some work remotely. He announced, "We received an anonymous complaint about financial misconduct and conducted an internal investigation. Facts of misappropriation of funds by manager John have been identified. He is terminated effective immediately, and we have handed the materials over to the authorities for further review." Also, due to a conflict of interest, his relative Emma, who held the project manager position, has been terminated. Everyone was in shock. Some were quietly happy. Some whispered, "Finally." The CEO added that the company would hire a new manager, strengthen expense controls, and reinstate last year's bonuses because we value your dedication. They didn't mention me publicly, but after the meeting, HR, the new one, invited me for a private conversation. Said, "We know you were the whistleblower. The evidence came from an IP that can't be traced, but from the details we understood it was someone from accounting. Thank you. You saved the company from potential bankruptcy. The embezzlement amounted to over $400K over 2 years, more than I thought. They found more offshore accounts and fake contracts. The SEC got involved, and John was arrested yesterday evening for fraud and embezzlement, federal charges, because the company is interstate. Emma wasn't arrested, but was fired with a ban on recommendations, and she probably won't find a job in finance anytime soon. And now for the best part, they offered me my old project manager position back, with a salary increase to $95K more than before, plus a $10K bonus as a loyalty reward, whistleblower reward, but not officially from the SEC, as the case is ongoing. I agreed instantly. It feels like justice. The team is happy because Emma was a disaster, and now we can work normally without overtime. The CEO promised to hire more people and pay for extra hours. Financially, I can finally breathe. I'll pay off debts, go on vacation, maybe to Europe, ironically. Emotionally, I feel relief and pride. After all the humiliation, demotion, and stress, it's like the end of a bad movie with a happy ending. John is under house arrest, awaiting trial. I read it in the local news. Financial firm manager accused of embezzling hundreds of thousands. Emma, I assume, has returned to her parents and is looking for a job in marketing. AITA for all of this? Many in the comments said NTA, and now I'm sure I did the right thing. If anyone is in a similar situation, my advice is document, consult a lawyer, and don't be afraid. Thank you, Reddit, you were my support system. This is the final update. Now I'm focusing on my new life at the company. Peace out. What are your thoughts on this story? Did the author do the right thing? What would you have done in her shoes? Share your opinion in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new stories.